Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Rich of Review Tech USA, and if you are a content creator who is looking to partner with a multi-channel network, I cannot recommend Curse Entertainment enough. They are personable, helpful, available, and they will help your channel be successful and grow. To apply, simply click the link below in the description. Now on to today's news story. So as you see, I'm playing Shovel Knight. This is the PC version, and it looks like a retro game. So I am not all about graphics. I like graphics, I like pretty visuals, and any of you out there who say that you don't appreciate a game that looks good is a liar. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you have to be all about graphics, and there's a lot of games like Shovel Knight that are fun that don't need to have cutting edge visuals, but when a game looks pretty, it is nice to look at and it is enjoyable to look at. Doesn't mean it's a great game, but visuals do help. They don't make a game, but they sure as shit help. I mean, I remember being 6 or 7 years old and I got the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. Yes, I'm that fucking old. And you were looking through the instruction manual and, it was the original Legend of Zelda. It was the top down, how they had the top down perspective, and it was an 8-bit NES game. But when I remember looking through the drawings in the instruction manual, and they had this one, if I could find a picture of it on like Google, I'll put it in here, where Link has his sword and he's on like a car, he's out like in a road carved out in the mountain, and he's looking at the castle from that point. I remember thinking as a little kid, man, imagine if a game looked like that. So my point being is not to just go back in time and date myself, is there's always been this instinctual thing for gamers and just people in general to always push the limits and to get to that point where we are at photorealistic visuals. I've always thought about it, and I know many people in the industry have. But let's face it, to get to CG quality visuals, even with today's hardware, is still a huge friggin' challenge. And former Naughty Dog developer John Hable doesn't think the Xbox One and PS4 can give us CG quality visuals. This is what he had to say about it. I think it will be a very long time, meaning when consoles will finally have the horsepower to do CG quality graphics. The current crop of consoles is much better than the previous generation. I would hope there, buddy, that's how it goes. But the trailers are getting better too. If you really want to hit that level of quality, then you need staggering triangle counts with really long shaders. Photoreal global illumination is very easy offline, but very difficult in real time. So then Hable was asked by Gaming Bolt when consoles will be able to hit that level of graphic fidelity, that CG quality visuals. And according to Hable, it will take 2 more generations of consoles before they can reach CG level visuals at 4K. This is exactly what he had to say about it. I don't have a good answer for you, but my guess would be longer than you think. 1 more console generation seems too quick. Maybe in 2 more generations? That would be PS6 and 5th gen Xbox. And if we need to render in 4K, then add another generation, which puts us at PS7 and 6th gen Xbox. It'll be a while. Now, it was funny. I'm glad I sat on this for a day, because when I first read this article, I was like half asleep, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's lying. 4K, you could do MOBA games on a 960 at 4K resolutions. What is he talking about? I didn't sound like that, but in my head, that's how I sounded because I was half asleep reading it. But he actually may be right. He's talking about CG level visuals, like what you see in Hollywood movies being rendered at 4K real time by console hardware. That I kind of agree with, and it may take 2 more generations for us to get that. Now, we may get 4K with the PS5, if there is a PS5, and an Xbox, whatever the hell it is, if we get one. We'll get 4K, native 4K at 60 hertz, but if you think that you're going to get like DreamWorks Interactive caliber visuals on the next gen Xbox or PlayStation 5, I can't believe we're already talking about those fucking consoles. I think he's right. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think my Titan X could do that. I have a Titan X and an 8-core Intel CPU, and I don't think they can handle like a DreamWorks Interactive caliber visuals at 4K. I mean, my card with certain games now, which again is the Titan X, chokes with games at 4K at max settings. So I highly doubt what he's talking about here with the CG quality visuals would be able to happen with my hardware, let alone the next console generation. So I think now again that I'm reading this wide awake, he may have a point. For us to get to where we see like the Order 1886, which to me is probably the closest to CG visuals, that and Rise, Son of Rome, for us to see those kind of games with even better visuals, like something we would see in a Hollywood movie being done real time, it ain't happening definitely on the PS4 and Xbox One. It probably isn't happening on the PS5 and whatever the next Xbox is. So I think he has a point. It may take another 2 whole console generations before we see that level of graphics. Also, too, it's mentioned in the article, is that's a lot of money to make those kind of visuals happen. So we may get the hardware sooner. That could still have, where there is that possibility, we get the hardware sooner that's capable enough of giving those visuals, but game development companies just won't be able to afford to give us those visuals. Too many man hours and too big a budget. So there's a lot of things working against us seeing games with photorealistic visuals. So it may be a while, folks, so be patient. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.